Listen up, traders. I get calls every single day from traders who just dropped serious cash on the fastest internet package in their area, thinking that they've solved their connectivity problems once and for all. Then they run a speed test, and what do they find? Their connection is crawling at half the speed they're paying for. Want to know what the first question I ask them is? Are you plugged directly into your router with an Ethernet cable, or are you using Wi-Fi? And here's the brutal truth that most people don't want you to hear. Your Wi-Fi connection is sabotaging your trading performance. And I'm about to explain exactly why staying wired into your router isn't just recommended for traders, it's absolutely critical. Think about it this way. When you plug an Ethernet cable directly into your router, you're creating a dedicated highway between your computer and the internet. That copper wire inside the cable is wrapped in special shielding that protects your data signal from interference. You can run that cable up to 300 feet before you start seeing the signal degrade. That's a direct, protected connection with zero competition for bandwidth. Now compare that to Wi-Fi, which is basically your router screaming radio signals in every direction, hoping your computer catches them through walls, through furniture, and whatever else is in the way. But here's where it gets super frustrating for traders. Your Wi-Fi signal isn't just fighting through physical obstacles, it's also competing with every other wireless device in your house and your neighbor's house. Your spouse's phone, your kid's gaming laptop, that smart TV in the living room, even your neighbor's network traffic is also fighting for the same airspace. This creates what we call spectrum competition, and it's killing your trading speeds. Your router has to sort through all of these competing signals, and the method it uses to manage this chaos is nowhere near as efficient as a direct wired connection. The result is higher latency, slower data transmission, and those frustrating moments when your charts freeze right when the market is making a big move. But wait, it gets worse. Your Wi-Fi router's antenna can only do one thing at a time. It's either sending data or it's receiving, but never both simultaneously. An Ethernet cable, on the other hand, can handle two-way communication at the same time. This bidirectional capability dramatically reduces latency and improves your overall trading experience. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but Eddie, I trade on a laptop. I can't always be tethered to my router. Look, I get it, and that's exactly why I want to tell you about the one Wi-Fi technology that's actually worth your attention if you absolutely must go wireless. It's called Wi-Fi 7 with something called AFC. AFC stands for Automated Frequency Coordination. Before I dive into that, if you want the complete blueprint for obtaining the fastest, most reliable trading computer setup possible, grab my free Complete Guide to Trading Computers. This guide is packed with insider tips that'll save you from making expensive mistakes that could cost you thousands in both equipment and missed trading opportunities. That link is right in the description below. Now here's what makes Wi-Fi 7 with AFC different from every other wireless technology that you've used. Imagine your Wi-Fi router has been wearing handcuffs this entire time, which artificially limit its power output to avoid interfering with government systems. Systems like satellite stations and emergency services. AFC is like giving your router a direct line to a government database that says, hey, is there any critical infrastructure using these frequencies in my location? If the coast is clear, your router gets permission to unleash its full power. We're talking about going from maybe 30 megabits per second at the far end of your house to over 500 megabits. That's not a small improvement. That's like upgrading from a bicycle to a Ferrari. The technical magic happens because AFC lets your router bump up its broadcasting power from about 1 watt to 4 watts. In the wireless world, that's a difference between whispering and shouting. Your signal can suddenly reach much further and at much faster speeds. Now, here's why this matters for traders specifically. When you're using an AFC-enabled Wi-Fi 7, your charts can update in real time without lag. Your order execution fires off instantly instead of experiencing that annoying slippage, and your video calls with other traders, they stay rock solid with zero dropouts. When milliseconds can make the difference between profit and loss, this extra wireless power can be a big game changer. But let me be crystal clear about something. Even with all this fancy Wi-Fi 7 technology, I still recommend staying wired whenever humanly possible. A good Ethernet connection, a wired connection, will always be the king for stability and consistent performance. However, I realize that many of you trade on laptops and simply can't run cables everywhere you need to work. Getting an AFC-powered Wi-Fi router gives you the next best thing to being hardwired. Here's the catch though, and this is important. Not every single device can take full advantage of this power boost. Your router can blast that strong signal to your device, no problem, but sending data back to the router depends entirely on what kind of device you're using. Modern laptops and smartphones with the right chips and drivers can handle two-way communication, but some older models might only benefit from the download speed boost. For most traders, this isn't a huge problem because most of what we do involves downloading data. We're streaming market information, we're loading charts, we're updating trading platforms, and watching price action unfold. Upload speeds are usually fine as they are, but if you're running automated trading strategies where your computer is canceling and resending orders, firing orders off every few seconds, then upload performance becomes much more critical. There are a few things you need to know before getting too excited about this technology. First, it's not an exact science yet. Sometimes AFC won't be able to figure out your location properly, or it might just decide to not give you permission for various technical reasons. So while the technology is amazing, it's not 100% guaranteed every single time. Second, there are privacy considerations. Your router needs to know its exact GPS coordinates to check with the government database. Yes, and that's what's happening. This special router checks a government database to see if your location is safe. If you're someone who worries about privacy, your router will essentially be reporting your address to enable this feature. For most people, though, the performance boost is worth this trade-off, but it's something to consider. Now, the biggest limitation right now is that very few routers actually have AFC capability built in. You need very specific hardware that supports it, and it has to be enabled through firmware updates. As of right now, I've only found 2 AFC-enabled Wi-Fi routers available for home users. There's the Asus ROG Strix GBE 19000 and the Ubiquiti Networks Unify Enterprise 7. The availability of AFC will also depend on where you live. The US has pretty good regulatory support for this tech, but other countries are still working through the legal framework. It's like some countries are still deciding whether to allow race cars on their highways. When everything aligns perfectly, though, when you have that right router, the right location, and the right regulatory approval, it can be magical. Your Wi-Fi 7 transforms from a short-range, wimpy signal into this powerful, long-range beast that can actually compete with and sometimes even beat traditional Wi-Fi performance on older frequency bands. The best part is that this isn't some theoretical future technology. It's happening right now. Those routers I mentioned are already available, and the people using them are seeing dramatic improvements in their wireless performance, especially traders. Now, here's the big takeaway. If you're shopping for a new router and you want the absolute best performance possible, make sure it has AFC capability, and I would go with that Asus ROG Strix version I mentioned earlier. It might not work everywhere in the country yet, so be prepared for that. But when it does work, it's going to blow you away. The bottom line for traders is simple. Stay wired to your router whenever it's possible. You really need to do that. It's still the gold standard for consistent low latency performance. But if you absolutely must use wireless, Wi-Fi 7 with AFC gives you the closest thing to a wired connection that you can get wirelessly. Don't forget to grab my complete guide to trading computers using the link in the description. And hey, if you're ready for a complete trading computer setup upgrade, we've got the latest high-performance machine on sale right now. Check out the sale link in the description if you're ready to take your trading to the next level. Hey, yo, before you go, make sure to slam that subscribe button because I'm constantly uncovering new technologies and strategies that can give traders like you a real edge in the markets. And you don't want to miss what's coming next. My name is Eddie Z. Thanks for watching. Definitely watch this video next. And as I always say, may the trend be with you.